Old Dairy, Snowtop.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I had a bit of an epiphany last night. Well, it wasn't so much an epiphany, it was a discovery. Was out with the missus and her boss and her fella, Mark, he's a subscriber. Alright mate. And we went for an Indian. And there was a place just down the road from the Indian, which was it looked like a wine shop from the outside, and you can imagine my disgust when I saw it. But then the old grey matter started working, and I just thought, they cannot just sell wine, they've got to sell beer. So I walked in there, and honestly, it must have been like, what's his face on the road to Damascus? Who was that on the road? Lionel Blair, that was him, yeah. You know, I walked in there and they had the usual in a like a little type of fridge. They had all the Carlsberg and Fosters and the Stella and all that. And I thought, oh fucking hell, this is going to be shit. But then they had a shelf a little way down the aisle, and it was just top to bottom full of local beers, craft beers, and some really decent stuff. It was almost like my legs went weak. I was like a little kid in a toy shop. And we was going to this Indian, and I thought, I want to buy a lot of stuff here, but I haven't got any way of getting it back because we went in a car, and you know, I couldn't have got it all back in the motor. But I did buy some stuff, and this is the one that I really wanted to try. It's from the Old Dairy Brewery, and they're based in a place called Tenterden in Kent, which is just up the road from me, and hence the reason that this was in the shop. And I've tried some of their beers before. There is a pub in Maidstone called Sellers Arms, and they do all the Old Dairy stuff in there. They advertise it, and there's quite a range that they do. I've seen this advertised, but I've never seen it available on cask. I didn't even know Old Dairy did bottles. This is a real new one for me. I just thought it was cask and that was it, because there are a few brewers around in Kent that only do cask stuff. But this was one that I really wanted to get, and it's a seasonal beer as well. Now, it's a winter warmer. Winter warmers, old ale, call them what you like. Basically, it's strong, dark ale. Strong British dark ale. And that's what this is. And it's now October. It's getting cold. I imagine they're going to be doing this for another 3 months. It's more or less a Christmas beer. But what I like about Old Dairy is they obviously use the old cows on the label and all that, but all the names relate to types of milk. So you got red top, gold top, silver top, etc. Snow top, not sure. I assume that's something to do with the winter warmer. Quick word about the Old Dairy Brewery. As I said, they're in Tenterden, which is just down the road from me. That's in Kent. They've been going a while, but I don't know an exact date. I really couldn't find the information out. One good thing, my missus, for my birthday, she's bought me a brewery tour there, so I'll be going to that. I'll see if I can film it, give you a bit more info and whatnot. If not, I'll take some photos anyway. But this is one of the breweries that I really do like. I've tried some of their beers, and of course they're local, so it's going to be fresh. I'm not sure if I'm doing this review, this is a bit self-indulgent, I'm not sure people looking at this will be able to get it. I'm sure they must be able to do it mail order, or if you get it from the brewery direct. But they're like a traditional British brewer. All their stuff, they do best bitters, this seasonal old ale, they've got pale ales, British IPAs, etc, etc. It's that type of brewery, and it's really good. And they're based in two old World War II Nissan huts, and the huts were originally used to store food, I think, because it's right next to the railway. There used to be a steam railway there, and they were situated there. They've taken them over, and one of them huts is the brewery and the other is the tap room. And the tap room's open on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, so you can go there, you can get the beer fresh straight from the brewery. I would rather go there than some of these craft beer places. The prices there are quite reasonable, so I've been told. I'll give you more information on that as I go down there, but I'm really excited about this brewery because, as I said, I've tried some of this stuff before on cask. Now, it could be completely different in bottles, but on cask it was really good. So, let's stop guessing. Let's get this beer investigated. Right, it's called Snowtop. I'm assuming because they're all sort of based on milk, some sort of milk type connection, they've called it Snowtop. Now, when I was a kid, I used to do a milk round, and I do remember you'd leave bottles up, and I mean, fucking hell, I'm not going to start getting the violins out, but it was a fucking hard job. And I was only about 13 years old, and I'd be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, it was fucking hard graft for a 13-year-old kid. I was always cold. That's why now I really do suffer with a cold, I'm sure of it. But my hands was always cold, you know. I had no gloves, picking up all them freezing cold milk bottles. I remember I used to come in and my hands, I'd warm my hands up and they'd be in agony where they'd be warming up, all the cracks in my hands. Anyway, I'm not going to get the fucking violin out. But this is a 6% strong dark ale. That's what put me onto this, because it just sounds like either an ESB or an old ale. Now, they've called it a winter warmer, so I'm going to call this a winter warmer or old ale, if you like. As I say, it's 6%. It is Camera Gold Winter Champion Beer of Britain. And that was in cask. That was in 2015, 2016. And it was a Silver Supreme Champion Beer of Britain in 2016 as well. So it's got some really good credentials on this, and it says the perfect winter warmer for those long cold nights. Snowtop is brewed with rich dark Maris Otter, crystal and black malts, producing a deeply satisfying ale with delicious fruitcake and marmalade flavours, topped off with spicy notes from English Challenger, East Kent Goldings and Bramley Cross hops. Right, I've spoke about the hops before, you know, the East Kent Goldings, the Challenger and the Bramley Cross. They're all covered, what they do, they're all covered in other videos, so I'm not going to go into that here. What I do want to go into is this contains invert cane sugar. Now I want to talk a little bit about that, just to get that, you know, there's a myth that, oh, if you add sugar to beer it's going to be bad. In a lot of cases it is, but when you do it in this type of style, like if it's brewing like British, traditional British type beer, invert cane sugar can really enhance the flavour, especially for beers like this, you know, dark, strong beers. What is it? What is this invert cane sugar? Well, it's an adjunct, but what it is it's an easily fermentable adjunct. So when you put this into beer, the yeast are going to feed on this, and they are going to produce more alcohol, more flavour, if you like, more carbon dioxide, which is going to get the flavours circulated better, and it also gives colour as well. So the way you produce invert sugar, you know, depends how quickly you boil it, etc., and how much you boil it. It can go dark or it can stay relatively light. It's got the same chemical composition as honey, and that's why it's easily fermentable. But as I say, it's also used to colour the beer too. Now, some might say, oh, that's a cheap cop-out because really you should be using the malts, etc., to colour it, which, yeah, is a fair comment. But, you know, if you can get a fermentable product that is not the malts, that will also colour the beer and increase the ABV, I mean, that's a winner for any brewer. And the Belgians do something called candy sugar. That shouldn't be confused with this stuff. The candy sugar that goes in Belgian beers is... It goes through a different chemical process. What it does is quite similar. That's, you know, it's quite easily fermentable, and it does colour the beer. But the process, the chemical process it goes through, and the preparation is different. So don't confuse the Belgian stuff with this stuff, the British invert cane sugar. And you'll find it in other products as well. I mean, you know, I'm talking about beer specifically here, but you'll find it in chocolate. You'll find it in fudge, etc., you know, that type of stuff, because it's a preservative as well. It absorbs moisture, so it will prevent chocolate and other perishables like that. It'll extend the shelf life, and of course it will, you know, extend the shelf life of the beer as well, which is another good thing. So let's stop gassing and let's get this beer open. I'm really excited to try this. This is the first Old Dairy beer that I've tried from the bottle, and I cannot wait. There's the cap. Good stuff, good stuff. I've got some ink yesterday on the old neck. That is fucking killing me every time I turn around. That hurts. It's all fucking whinging today, ain't it? If it ain't the fucking milk round, it's me fucking ink. I hope you're liking the... what the fuck have I done there? I hope you're liking the bass playing videos. The reason I'm doing them is because... two reasons. One, the name of the channel is Bands, Bikes and Booze. Now, I'm not going to go and see any bands, so I can't put any footage of live bands up, etc. So I want to keep the music going. So what I'm doing is, I'm doing these covers. I get no money from. I don't get money from this channel anyway. Everything I do, you know, I don't beg off people. I don't get any freebie beers. I certainly won't get any money for playing bass videos. It's just purely for entertainment and to keep my head sane, because the other day I thought I'll have a little bit of a practice on the bass. I haven't played the bass now since March, and I really struggled, and I thought I cannot let this go, because if I'd stop playing and try and get back into it, it's just going to get harder and harder. So this is why I'm doing these covers, and I thought, well, if I'm practicing, why not just put them up on a video? So that's, you know, that's why I'm doing it. If you like it, brilliant. If you don't like it, tough shit. There's going to be more of them, and it's going to be metal and punk. There's going to be no fucking soul, no rap, no fucking funk, none of that fucking R&B. There's basically going to be no shit. It's going to be music I like. So there you go. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off and drink wine. All right. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get this beer investigated. I have put a bit of a head on that, which I really should have. God, blimey. You can smell that from here. That is lovely. Wow, that is so intense. Really sweet malt. And I'm sure the sugar's having an effect on that as well. Little touch of spirit alcohol. But a lot of fruit on there. Very, almost fruitcake like, you know, dark fruit, black cherry, raisin. Dried, you know, that dried fruit that you normally get from dark beers. That's what you're getting on there. And there's a little touch of marmalade or orange zest that I'm getting. And I think that's possibly coming from the hops, possibly the Bramling Cross hops. But, oh, it smells lovely. It smells absolutely gorgeous. And as I say, this brewery, they just do traditional British beers. And I absolutely love what they do. And West Ham are playing Spurs later on. So hopefully, this is going to be a great beer, and we're going to beat Spurs. Now there it is in the glass. That's quite a murky chestnut ruby colour. Really nice. It looks really nice anyway. And it smells. It smells absolutely gorgeous. I don't know whether this is bottle conditioned or not. It doesn't say anything about it being bottle conditioned, so I'm just going to pour it. I always do pour everything in anyway, but with that cane sugar in there, this should be quite a strong beer. Oh yeah, look, I can see bits floating about in there. I think this is bottle conditioned. It doesn't say it on there, no. No. Oh well. Anyway, let's get it down the hatch. You're a good elf. Oh. Fucking hell. Oh, this is beautiful. This is absolutely gorgeous. Oh, the aftertaste on it. Wow, this is really complex, but it's lovely. Big toffee malt, big caramel malt, biscuit malt finish on it. Lots of fruit. God, that finish just lingers and lingers. Lots of dark fruit on that. No spirit alcohol, which I thought there would be. I was getting a little whiff of it, Not getting that at all. There's a nice bitterness too that's coming from them hops as well. You do get it, and then that in there. It's really complex. So you've got the combination of all them malts, and you've got the Marisotto malt in there as well, which, you know, that is the Rolls Royce of brewing malts. And it just, I don't know, you just get bombarded with flavours. It's really difficult to break it all down at the moment. Hang on. That's a typical old ale. Really big on the malty flavours. The cane sugar, or the invert sugar that's in there, that's not obtrusive. It doesn't give it that. If I was comparing this to the Yorkshire Stingo from Sam Smith's, now that does contain cane sugar or invert sugar, and that was really big on the spirit alcohol and big on that sugar as well. So it was like the two were competing, and I didn't really like it, to be honest. But the balance on this is much, well, it's perfect in my opinion. This is really nice. Caramel and toffee, they're the two dominant flavours. But then the fruit kicks in as well. And it is like a fruit cake. If you can imagine a rich Christmas cake. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. But on the finish, you do get some of that hop bittering on there. So you know, you're sort of put in mind of a best bitter as it's going down. But then of course the malt just comes back with a vengeance. Nice toffee, little touch of chocolate on there, dark bitter chocolate too. It really is nice. The body on it is superb as well. In fact, I'm just thinking, I cannot see anything bad with this. Just look at the yeast. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the yeast that's floating about in that? Now that is giving it a real rich flavour. And it's lovely. It's absolutely gorgeous. So effectively that is bottle conditioned. And I'm sure that yeast is giving it, it's giving it some more complexity to it. Getting hints of coffee now as well. Fucking hell. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. It's just so complex. It's like every mouthful you're getting something else. You're getting a different type. I don't know if it's my imagination, but it feels like I'm getting like a tea flavour, which again, that could be coming from the Bramling Cross hops, because they do have that sort of black tea tannin type flavour, which is subtle, but it's there. But this is so complex. In fact, do you know what? I know I haven't got time. I don't want to bore the shit out of you, but I'm sure if I took with each mouthful, I'm getting a different flavour. But it's really good. It really is superb. And I didn't think it was going to be this good. You know, because normally I've never seen their stuff in bottles, and some brewers just don't get it right when they put their stuff into bottles. Case in point being the Burton Bridge Brewery. Now, I've heard some people saying that their cask stuff is absolutely amazing since I put the video up, but I tried 2 bottles of their stuff and it was absolutely disgusting. So, you know, it's not a case of just brewing the beer. If you're going to put it in bottles, your approach has to be different to if it's going into a cask. For starters, you've got to put CO2 in there, but you know, you've got to get the packaging right as well. You know, still people putting beer in clear bottles, which is a pet hate of mine, but I'm not going to go into that now. This is all about this. But they've got this right. They've got this bang on. This is a perfect beer, in my opinion. So what's the verdict on Old Dairy Snowtop? It's fucking great. It really is. Now, I saw this advertised and I just remember thinking, I was in the Sellers Arms at the time in Maidstone, and they have all the beer mats on the wall. They've got all the Old Dairy beer mats on there, and I do remember thinking that Old Dairy Snowtop looks amazing. If I could hunt that down, and I asked him, and I think this was in might have been in July or something. It was quite warm, and he said, "No, it's a seasonal beer." He said, "You won't get that till the winter," and I completely forgot about it. I think this was last year sometime, but I've eventually come across it, and I'm so glad I did. I can see why this has won the awards. For me, this is a 10 out of 10. Is it the best old ale that I've tasted? It's not the best, no, but it's up there with them. For me, the Adnams Tally Ho was the best one. That had the strong ABV, the smoothness, the drinkability, and the flavour. This has got nearly all that stuff. The ABV isn't quite as high. I think the Tally Ho stuff was 8%. This is 6%. But it's got all the complexities of it. It's got the big malt, the touch of sweetness, the big fruit, everything you want from an old ale or a winter warmer. They call it a winter warmer. It hasn't got the warming spirit alcohol, which I thought it might have. But that's probably why I'm not going to put it up there with all the others, because some people don't like that strong ethanol taste. I love it. I love it in the Belgian beers, and I love it in these strong old ales as well. But this is a really good one. I urge you to look at the website, see if you can buy it online. I should have looked up whether you can or not, or if you're ever in the Kent area, just try some bottle shops, look up a few bottle shops. And the place I got this from was in a place called Staplehurst, which is sort of in between, where would it be? Maidstone and Tenterden. It's sort of in between that area. But if you look it up on the map, but as I say, look up the website, see if you can get it online. Believe me, if you like your British beer, get a few from there, because if they're anything like this, and they're anything like the stuff I've tasted on cask, it's going to be really good. 10 out of 10. And remember, beer is working class champagne.